Hello everyone, I'm Kenshin, welcome to Talking History. Please take a moment to subscribe, like, comment, and share. Also, don't forget to turn on notifications. Thank you. Today's historical mystery is about the relationship between Nazi Germany and the Vatican. As the war between Ukraine and Russia enters its third year, Pope Francis, in a media interview, expressed his hope for Ukraine to show the courage to raise the white flag and end the war with Russia. This statement sparked controversy on social media, with various world leaders expressing opposition. Particularly, Ukrainian Foreign Minister Dmytro Kuleba posted on the social platform, X, stating, "Our flag is yellow and blue, and we will never raise any other flag." Kuleba emphasized that true strength lies in standing on the side of good, in the struggle between good and evil, rather than attempting to negotiate with those who blur the lines between good and evil. This reminded me of accusations during World War II that Pope Pius XII failed to act against Nazi Germany, despite being aware of the details of the Nazi extermination of Jews as early as 1942. Let's take a look at what the Vatican and Pope Pius XII did during World War II. In the 1920s, Cardinal Eugenio Pacelli, who later became Pope Pius XII, served as a papal nuncio in Germany and witnessed the rise of the Nazis. Later, as Pope Pius XII, he received documents about Nazi atrocities against Jews but did not respond. After the war, many Nazi war criminals fled to South America with the help of Roman Catholic Church clergy, along the so-called rat lines. Whether Pope Pius XII was aware of this is a mystery historians are eager to solve. For example, Franz Stangl, the former commandant of the Sobibor and Treblinka extermination camps, who was responsible for the deaths of nearly 1 million Jews during World War II, successfully escaped to Italy with the help of sympathetic Roman Catholic Bishop Alois Hudal. Hudal provided Stangl with forged documents, allowing him to reunite with his family in Syria. In 1951, Stangl and his family immigrated to Brazil, where he worked in a Volkswagen factory near São Paulo. In 1967, Stangl was captured in Brazil and extradited to West Germany for trial. He was sentenced to life in prison in 1970 and died in custody 6 months later due to heart failure. Stangl was one of the thousands of Nazi war criminals who fled to South America via the rat lines, with most escaping to Argentina, the last country to declare war on Nazi Germany during World War II. For survivors of the Holocaust and Nazi hunters like Simon Wiesenthal, Argentina represented the Cape of Last Hope for Nazis. According to Daniel Stahl, a historian at the University of Jena in Germany, the rat lines were not a structured system but rather a network of independent factors. It was more like a path established gradually after World War II through spontaneous cooperation among different organizations. About 90% of Nazi war criminals fled Europe through these routes, with their first stop often being the Trentino-South Tyrol Autonomous Region in northern Italy, known for its many monasteries, earning the rat lines the nickname monastery route. Inside monasteries, Nazis would raise funds for their journey to South America. Sometimes they would find Holocaust survivors living next door, intending to travel to Israel. Before heading to South America, Rome served as the final stop, where Nazis obtained forged documents from the Catholic Church to secure passports from the International Red Cross. Stahl noted that Nazis orchestrated this escape plan through word of mouth, with sympathetic figures like Bishop Hudal playing crucial roles. Hudal once said most Nazi war criminals should not be prosecuted, aiding their escape with forged documents. Historians are keen to know whether Pope Pius XII was aware of the rat lines, and to what extent. If he was aware, how much did he know? In 2020, the Vatican officially opened the archives of Pope Pius XII for public viewing. Pius XII led the Catholic Church from 1939 to 1958, coinciding with World War II, during which he was accused of turning a blind eye to the Nazi Holocaust against the Jews, earning him the moniker, Hitler's Pope, for his failure to publicly condemn Nazi persecution of Jews. David Kurtzer, an American expert specializing in the Catholic Church and fascism, studied these documents. He stated that the Vatican was nervous about what the archives might reveal, saying, "There's a big question." Pius XII never publicly criticized the Nazi genocide of Jews, despite knowing about it early on. Clergy and many others pressured him to speak out, but he refused. While there's evidence the Church did shelter Jews in Rome, on October 16, 1943, over 1,000 Jews, after staying in Rome for 2 days, were sent to concentration camps. However, Pius XII did not publicly protest, nor did he privately ask Hitler to stop sending Jews to Auschwitz, said Kurtzer. "We hope to find from these archives why he did so and what discussions took place behind the high walls of the Vatican." In 1999, British author John Cornwell published the controversial biography of Pius XII titled Hitler's Pope. Cornwell claimed Pius XII was actually anti-Semitic, stating, "He did not speak out against the plight of Jews out of moral outrage. Instead, he was narcissistic, seeking to protect and enhance papal power." Cornwell wrote, "For Hitler's unspeakable plans, Pius XII was the ideal pope. He was Hitler's pawn, he was Hitler's pope." However, his views were challenged by many scholars, and he later retracted, stating, "The scope of Pius XII's actions was so limited that it's impossible to determine the motive behind his silence during the war." Pius XII never explained his stance. Mary Vincent, professor of modern European history at the University of Sheffield in the UK, said many criticisms of Pius XII lack detail. She stated, "He was a cautious, serious, and unlikable person trying to carve out a path in an almost impossible environment. He had clear views on the threat posed by Soviet communism and was slightly softer on Italian fascism. However, dividing him into good or bad doesn't help. It's about the decisions he made and the space he needed to make them."